Hi guys and welcome. Today we're going to be making what I call junk journal essentials. So it's things that you will use a lot in junk journals, like belly bands, tags, tucks, notebooks, hidden paper clips. So I threw myself a challenge this week of diving into my archive, things that I haven't used for the last 12 months, 2 years, and picking something to make this project with. So what I come up with was a butterfly punch. Now it's a really old one. I think it's like a whale. This one's a Stampin' Up, but it's like a whale butterfly punch. So I'm going to be using that with some book pages. Now, if you don't have a butterfly punch, you can use a metal cutting die butterfly. If you don't have one of those, then you can get a bit of cardstock, fold it over and just draw the wing, so a big one and a little one, and then you can cut that out and then place that on folded book page like that, and then cut or trace around it and cut some out that way. So that way, if you still want to do this and you don't have the tools to be able to do it, you can always do it by hand. All right, beautiful. So today we're going to be making a little notebook, so with some coffee dyed paper in it. The clusters on the front are all pretty much the same, although today I think I'll work with a little bit of olive green. We've got a belly band, so this gets attached to the top of the page and you can tuck things in under it like a notebook or some folded up coffee dyed paper, just for extra journaling spaces. We've got a tag and you can put some ribbon or some sari silk on that. You've got journaling space on the back. We've got a corner pocket or tuck. So this is your page in your journal, goes down the corner, you glue the two sides and you can tuck things in. You can also have it up the top of a page like that. You just turn your butterfly around and then you can tuck something up into that. Then we've got a hidden paper clip, so you'll be able to see it on one side but not the other, and it's designed to, if that's the page in your journal, you can clip it onto the top of your page and then you can tuck something under it like that. Also, you can tuck it on the side of your page. You'd have your butterfly turned around, of course, and you can put a little dangle off that on with a ball pin or a little parrot clip and have something dangling off the edge there. So they're a lot of fun. We've got a standard pocket that goes down the bottom of your page. You glue the three sides and you can put something in. You'll use that one a lot. And then we've got a little notebook that's got, I've put 2 pages in there, so you'll have 4 pages all up with 8 writing pages on it. Great little addition to your journals. All right, so let's push that off to the side and we'll work through it. One thing I did when I was making my prototypes, I originally went with, I'll just put those off to the side. I originally went with a book page butterfly and book page on the back there. You'll see that I've got, I've changed it and put script on there. So I've got a script stamp and I've stamped it on just plain printing paper or office paper. And then I've ripped it up. This one here is the one that I originally did with the book page. So you can see that the butterfly actually blends into the background, whereas using the script, I hope you can see that okay, using the script, it actually highlights the butterfly even more. Okay, so we're going with script today. And what I mean by just stamping it, so just stamping it on paper that you can tear up. If you don't have a script stamp, then use a background stamp of some sort. If you don't have a background stamp, if you've got a little stamp, just repetitively stamp so you've got a pattern of some sort that's different from your book page. Or you might have a different book that you want to use, like a different color. It might be a little bit more aged or vintagey. All right, so let's make the first one. So we might start with the little notebook, and I'll give you the measurements throughout as we make them, guys. But I will also put them in the description for you to refer to if you want to have a go at this project. So your little notebook. It's 4 inches by 6 inches and then folded in half. And this can be any size that you like. It's a good way to use up your card scraps as well. And then what I do with the coffee dyed paper, I fold it over, and then I like it to sit just inside the cover like that. So what I do is I take the folded bit to the edge like that, so I know that I'm going to have a border, and then I turn it over and I cut it. I do the same to get the height of it. I pull it down twice the width of, because I'm going to have a border top and bottom, and then I turn it over and I cut it. So you'll get something like that that's got a bit of a border at the top, a bit at the bottom, and a bit on the edge there. And to bind it together, I'm going to do a 3-hole blanket stitch. And I'm just going to use some, this is waxed cotton. It's about a 1 mil. It's really, really strong. So I'm going to punch the holes in that first. I'm using an awl, so this has got a really sharp point on the end. And I'm going to go straight through the center like that. And then I'm going to go 1 towards the top. And I'm just eyeballing this because it's only 3 holes and it's only a really small notebook. I can eyeball it. Doesn't have to be exact, guys. It'll be fairly close. And then I'm just going to clip that in place so it doesn't move while I'm stitching. And I'll go through the center hole first. So leave yourself a bit of a tag. I usually put my thumb on it just so I don't end up pulling it through. And then we go up to through the top hole and then down through the center. Like that, and then down through the bottom. This needle I'm using is a bookbinding needle, but I have used a normal big eye needle, and when I couldn't locate my needle the other day, you'll see in one of my videos that I actually used a very flimsy beading needle, which wasn't ideal, but we got the job done. And then we just tie a knot to secure that. Just making sure that you know, you've pulled that so it's all even and it's not loose. Don't put too much tension on it because it's only a couple of pages and you're working with paper. You don't want it to rip your holes. So just a knot and you cut off the end. Now some people like to leave the string out the bottom. They'll put a bead on it or a little charm because they like dangly bits out the bottom. We're actually going to snip that off today just for the purposes of today's exercise. And if you don't like the cord showing there, you could certainly put some washi tape over that. The same on the spine, you could put some washi tape over the back as well. I actually like the look of the stitching. So I'm just going to ink that quickly. And what I'm using, I only recently purchased this one. It's a new one from Ranger. It's called Potting Soil. I really, really like the color of it. Doing it fairly quickly. You could go back over and if you wanted it darker at a later stage. Now being a notebook, I will also do the inside of the cover just really quickly. Okay, so that's your little notebook done, and you can apply that to any size you want. If you want to do a bit of a bigger journal to tuck into one of your journals, then certainly do that. It's just a matter of working out your measurements. All right, so let's put the front on that one. So you just get your script paper and you just tear off a piece. I ink it a little bit, not too much. don't really like that straight edge, so let's get rid of it. I usually shade in a little bit because I don't like the stark white, especially if I'm working on a cream cardstock, and the white will stand out, and we don't want to feature that because we want to feature the butterfly. Now with the first layer being the script, I like to move it over to the left a bit because we're going to be layering over towards the right. And then this paper here is beautiful recycled paper. Now it's not a handmade one, but it actually feels like it is. It's got some really great texture to it. I better ink that. The colour's called Parsley. And I've just got this. This is a sample pack that I got, but I do have stock coming that I'll put in my shop. The colour's called Parsley, but I'm calling it Olive because olive is one of my, because it is really olive, but olive is one of my favourite colours. Love working with the greens. And it goes well with a lot of other colours as well, especially with your neutrals. Now this is craft cardstock that I've used there, and I actually like, because they're both cardstock and that's paper, I actually like working with cardstock because you can see that it just gives it more texture. And then we're going to put a little bit of lace on there. So we just do a rough measurement. This lace is beige, so I won't have to ink it or colour it because I wouldn't like to see a white lace on there. But you can coffee dye lace, or you can spray some ink on your mat and soak it up and dry it that way. Now with your butterflies, so I've inked a few already. You'll need 6 butterflies all up. I've left one to ink to show you. So we're working with book page, and this is what we want to highlight. So we sort of call it our focal point because it's going to be the focus of our cluster that we're making. So I want to ink and define the edges a little bit darker than I normally would age or distress something. Just so it stands out. And then I'm going to poke a hole in the middle just with my awl, and I'm going to put a mini antique bronze brad there. Now the brad's not going to be attaching this to anything, so we just close it off like that. It's purely just to highlight the body of it. Now if you don't have any brads or you don't want to use brads, you can put a little Diamante there. You can, if you've got some dimensional paint, you can do a dollop of that as well. Just something to highlight it a little bit for you. And of course with all these you can have a word or a saying down the bottom. But that's our little notebook, so let's pop that one off to the side and go on to the next one. We might do the belly band next. So the belly band measures 2 inches across by 8 1/4. So if you lay an A4 bit of paper sideways like that, that's actual width of your A4 paper. So there's no cutting of the length as long as you get, you know, your 2 inches wide. You might decide you want it wider or not as wide, so that's entirely up to you as well. So I'm only inking one side of that because it's actually going to go down on a page. Oh, we don't want straight edges. Now with this one, I don't go the full width of the belly band, and I'll explain when I've got all the elements on there. I'll explain to you why, and of course it's entirely up to you. It's both a visual thing for me and a practicality. If you're making a few of these ahead just to have in your stash as blanks without like the butterfly and even some of the colour. So you might just want to make a heap like that and have in your stash ready to decorate. Pretty tough tearing this thicker card. I think it's about a 250 GSM, the same as the craft, and the craft is quite fibrous, so you need some strength in your fingers when you're tearing it, or you can use a tear ruler if you wish as well. It's still fairly tough. See, it's quite thick and fibrous, you see. But I love working with craft. I like the color of it, but when you ink it, it gives you like a really suede effect, like a leathery suede look. And then a bit of lace. So there's no real measuring on this, guys. It's just eyeballing, which is, I think, even more fun. Because you want it clustery. And then poke a hole, put our bride in our butterfly. Glue him on. Now, what I was saying before about not taking my cluster right to the top and the bottom. So the reason being is I actually like your eye to draw to the focal point. Also, if you're making these ahead, or even if you think I'm going to do a butterfly themed journal and you don't even have the size of the journal in mind, you can always snip off the top and the bottom. So if you go a smaller journal, I've just got this one, it's a little art journal that I've started. But see that, you could just cut that off and it'd suit whatever journal that you're doing. So with a belly band, you would stick it down at the bottom and at the top, and then you could tuck something under it. But you can also have it halfway down your page as well. So you'd turn your butterfly around, of course. You can have it at the top of the page where, you know, a notebook or something hangs out of it. So it's got a lot of uses. You can also have it as a side tuck like that. So you just do round your top and your bottom, and then you've got a really large tuck there to put maybe a bigger notebook or a journaling card or something like that. But that's our belly band. Let's now go to our corner tuck. So these are a lot of fun, and you can make these whatever size you want. You can have, I'll show you, you don't have to have them pointy like this. You can have it, here's a big one I've got. You can have it coming up like that, and angled at the top, entirely up to you. But this is just a basic measurement that I've given you guys today. And to cut this one, the measurements on this one is 4.5 by 3.5, and then you just cut diagonally. Now the 4.5 comes up here somewhere, so I've just brought it down a little bit because I didn't want it to be too like thin and skinny. I just wanted to sort of bring it back more into proportion. Let's put some. Now with this one, I might do it in like a bit of a triangular shape. And what I mean there is, I'll show you. I like a little bit going up so we don't have all this vacant space up there. We're still going to draw our eye down here to the butterfly, but it just sort of will fill in a bit of a void. Have a go at both ways, but yeah, I really don't like too much negative space in a sense. You don't want to draw your eye away from your focal point, because you put a lot of beautiful work into your focals. And we might do a similar effect. This piece might be big enough. Oh yeah. Don't spend too much time on, you know, getting your edges neat or your sizing too proportional, because you want it to look rustic. Old, vintagey, rustic. That one was impossible to tear. Sometimes, because it's so tough to tear, you need a longer bit to be able to grab it with your hand. Your fingers or your fingernails just don't cut it. And then a little bit of lace. Now your lace, you could go across the bottom like that. I'm just gonna go up the top just to keep it in theme with the set, but play around with it, guys. It'll come down to what you actually like. You're in the driver's seat. I love when creativity takes over, so you can look at one person's idea, and then by the time, even if you start out in that project to follow it step by step, and that's your corner tuck, step by step, by the end of it, I can nearly guarantee you that you will have something more in your style. And that's how I guess you develop your style over a period of time, just by having a play around. Of course, doing a project that someone else has done, so you've got a little bit of a guidance, but then you might change the color, you might change, like, rather than have a butterfly, you might have a flower. Just totally working with what you like or what you have on hand. Just putting the brads in there is just to speed it up. My fingers have become very inky, but I just can't wear gloves. I think they hinder you too much. I'd rather give them a good scrub after I've finished the project. First layer, take it off with a baby wipe, and then go to a bit of hand cleaner. Okay, so the next one we're going to do our tuck. So this one, or pocket rather, this one's 5 inches by 3 inches, and I always like to do a little bit of a notch out of the top of it. So this is a circle punch, it's a 1.5 inch, but you can use various sizes. It doesn't have to be a 1.5 inch. And then you just eyeball it to get a similar distance either side. And of course you can take it down as deep as you like, but I just like to take a piece out like that. And then this one, you can put your cluster in the middle. I've put it off to the side with this one, which I will do again. But you can play it. So you can go to the middle like that. You can go off to the side. You could have it over there, that side. I like it off to the side here. So if you wanted to put a word or a sentiment, you could put it across the bottom there. Now I'm using art glitter glue today because that's what was on my desk, which I do predominantly use a lot of, but you can also use a glue stick. And it doesn't have to be glued down perfectly, as long as it's got a good adherence to it. just a beautiful colour, this one. It's just a really natural green. Maybe one a bit thicker since we're going a bit thicker. The beauty about the art glitter, it does dry fairly quickly. Although sometimes that can not be a good thing if you need to reposition something. And once again, you know, you can cluster across and you can have your lace down the bottom. There's probably a lot of variables that you can do with your positioning. And that's your pocket. What have we got left? We've got our hidden paper clip left. So this is really fun. So the piece of cardstock that you want is 6 inches by 6/16 of an inch. Basically that is just under 2.5 inches. So if you want to take it to 2.5 inches, it'll be out there, about there. So there's no right and wrong with it. I went the 2 6/16 of an inch because there's a line on my trimmer. So I just went to the line. But like I said, you can go 2.5 inches and then just fold it neatly in half. Now I like to round my corners on this one. You don't have to, but if you're going to, do it before we put the paper clip in. I did one the other day and I'd already put the paper clip in, and it was quite difficult to get the corner rounder on because you can see it goes over the halfway. I was having to pull it and I ended up getting really little corners on there. But you learn by your mistakes. It doesn't mean you won't make them again. Okay, so the paper clip, I like a large paper clip. So this one's 50 mil, but this will work with the smaller ones as well if that's all you've got. So paper clip, you've got your small loop and your big loop. The big loop's the one that's going to go on the inside. So we clip it over the back, so you've got your small one on the back. Now I like to leave a little bit hinged out the edge there because we can put a dangle on that. We're going to glue these two pieces together, but I actually like to put a bit of masking tape down just as that extra security or peace of mind that that clip is not going to move, because we're going to be sliding it in and out of papers or, you know, pages. Just that little bit extra. And then put a fair bit of glue around where the clip is, because we really want to adhere it. Together. Actually, we do have still have our tag to go. I thought, because I had one extra butterfly staring me in the face there, and I thought, what haven't we done? So if you're not working with a glue that dries fairly quickly, you might want to put a clip on there, or just hold it until it adheres for you. And then the same step, guys, you got your scripted paper. These are so much fun. Like I said, you can just do a heap of blanks like that ready to go to put in your journal, and then just add your colors, you know, your butterflies, your flowers, your mushrooms, whatever you normally, your leaves, even just a word, something being your focal. You could put a nice saying on it. There's just a whole lot of things you can do with these. If you just got the recipe for the basics, which is what we're doing today. Little journal essentials, or a little suite of goodies. If you've ever watched people that just eyeball everything, I love eyeballing, you'll notice they never really go back in for that second measure. Whatever they, like they go, oh yeah, about that, they pull it up, they rip it off and they go, and yet that's it. They don't sit and procrastinate, oh, does that look good, does that not look good? Because like I said, we want to put our perfect demons away, and we just want to play. We just want to enjoy what we're doing. And there's no mistakes in craft, right? It's just, if a mistake is more as if you don't like something. So, you know, you can always cover it up. And who's going to know, right? Unless you tell them. I think you just got to allow yourself to be free to make mistakes as well. Beautiful. That's your little hidden paper clip. You will love those. All right, and our tag, our lucky last element for our Junk Journal Essentials pack. Keep an eye out too, guys. I'm going to be putting, I've got a few lots of these made now. This is not my first take on this video, unfortunately. I've had a few goes. We had some technology problems with my phone and storage, but I've worked it out that when you delete something, it doesn't necessarily delete. You've got to then go in and manually delete, and then you've got to go to your albums and select all the deleted files and delete them again. So it's a 3 or 4 stage process. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting an eyelet in, because we want to put some ribbon, some sari silk ribbon or twine on that just to dress it up. Or you don't even have to do that, you can just leave it with the eyelet plain. This tool I'm using, it's called a crocodile. It's probably the best tool that you'll ever purchase. It will punch up a big hole, which I've just used for that size eyelet, a smaller hole, and then you've got your eyelet setter, and it's got different sizes on it you can maneuver around. You will use this a lot, guys. And what I love about it too, if you've got a little bit of carpet tunnel or arthritis in your hands, the mechanisms in this tool, you basically don't have to put much pressure on it at all. The mechanisms in there make sure that the jaws close tightly on this, and it squishes it both sides for you. So it's a little bit of an outlay, but like I said, it will become your best friend. And we'll do a recap. Now your tag is 2.5 inches across by 4 down, and I'll show you a little trick on how to get the tops of the tags the same. If you're doing a mass make, or if you're like me and make most of your tags yourself, I'll show you a little trick to get them the same size all the time. I'll just finish this off and then I'll show you. fingers are going to need a rest, I think. Beautiful textures in these, though, well worth it. And a little bit of lace. And then our butterfly. Okay, so the secret to getting the same distance either side is work out what width you want to have your tag. So whether this one's 2.5 inches, you know, you might want to go a bigger one or a bigger one. Just work out the distance and grab a scrap bit of cardstock. So it only has to be a strip like that. I then fold it in half. So you cut your width, so that's your 2.5. Fold it in half and then cut your ears off, or your tips off there. That way you know that they're going to be exact either side, and then you would get your piece of card that you'd cut ready to go. You put it up there and you just cut off there and there, and you will get the same size tag every time. So it's just a little trick. I actually have some templates like this and I mark them like 2.5 inch tag, which just means the width. So you would grab that if you were making a heap of 2.5 inch tags. It doesn't matter how long you make them because it's the width, so you can slide it up, down, however you want to do. But it's a great little trick. Costs you nothing, so it's a free tool, that one. All right, so let's do a recap of what we've done today. So we've done our tag, and we'll put a little bit of sari silk, twine, ribbon, etc. on that one. We've got our hidden paper clip. You will love these. Now these can be big, they can be long. They don't have to be that size, but for the purpose of today, we've done that size. And remember, I'll put all the sizes down the bottom in the description. We've got our pocket, so we can tuck things in our journal. We've got our little notebook. You can put as many pages in that as you like, but you only really need a few. We've got our corner pocket, so that can go down the corner of a page to tuck things in, or it can go up the top, remembering to turn your focal around, and it can tuck up the top there. And then we've got our belly band, or we can put it over to the side and just be a side tuck. We can have the belly band in the middle of the page, up the top, or down the middle that way. Just remembering whichever way you do it, you turn your focal point around. And that's it, guys. Junk Journal Essentials. Have a go. I hope you've got a lot out of today's video, and I've inspired you to pull something out of your stash that you haven't seen or touched or used in 12 months to 2 years and give it a go. But that's it for today. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. I look forward to bringing you these videos, and I also look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.